தரேன் சார்.
சொல்லுங்க சார்.
ஏதோ வெளியிலேருந்து சண்டை கேட்குது. லைவ் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணியாச்சு சார் யூடியூப்.
பார்த்துட்டேங்க சார். சார் எல்லாத்தையும் மியூட் பண்ணி விட்டுருங்க. ஒரே நிமிஷம் சார். ஸ்ரீனிவாசன் சார்.
சொல்லுங்க
சார். ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்கு வாட்ஸ்அப் அனுப்பிச்சாச்சுல நம்ம அது?
அனுப்பிச்சாச்சு.
அந்த மெசேஜ் போயாச்சு. ஓகே. Saravanan sir? Saravanan sir? சரவணன் சார் கேக்குதுங்களா? Hello, sir. Welcome, sir.
Hello. Fine.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. I have made you as a presenter also, sir. If you have any PPT, you can also present.
I don't have anything prepared.
Okay, it's fine, sir. Mainly, we are from SNS institutions, Coimbatore. The participants will be of the students who have selected for Gen C and Gen C Elevate. That is top category of our students who needs a lot of motivation towards the top MNC companies, sir.
Yeah.
So uh, we shall wait for another 2 minutes and we shall start the meeting professionally, sir.
Okay. Okay.
चला पैसा मैं
A warm good afternoon to everyone, and hello students. I welcome you all to this motivational session. I welcome wholeheartedly our chief guest, Shreyans Muraka from Code Nation. Sir did his UG in Manipal University and computer science with a CGPA of 9.6 out of 10. And currently, Sir is working in Code Nation, Bangalore. So everyone have heard about Code Nation and what the package and how their lifestyle and how much knowledgeable should be there and what are the efforts they have put while joining in coordination and all. So on behalf of SNS institutions and on behalf of all the DT members and heads, principals, vice principals and our management, we invite our guest to continue this session.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Okay.
So good morning, everyone. Uh, yeah. So very new talk for me. First time doing talk. Saravanan sir, close friend. Yes. Okay. So talking about dream companies, super dream companies. So is that audience primarily first year, fourth years?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Or
Everyone is from fourth year who is
okay.
currently taking of placements and who got selected in first round or second round in TCS or CTS and waiting for that higher packages and all.
Okay.
So we have two institutions, SNS College of Engineering and College of Technology. Out of two, the most top students who are waiting for the highest packages are currently in this meeting, and other third years and final years who are interested towards placement and who will be appearing for the next year or watching through the YouTube live stream. Actually, the session is going in YouTube also, live streaming. So almost 300 students will be participating in YouTube, and only selected of 40 members will be in this meeting, sir.
Okay. Uh, okay. Okay, sir. So yeah. So this. Sorry. Uh, yeah, guys. So as we all probably know that uh, tracking these companies like dream companies, super dream companies, they are not uh, super like it's just a matter of practice and hard work. Most of these companies have a common selection round through algorithms, data structures, etc., which they like. And primarily, these topics are chosen during interviews or during the selection process because they act as a good filter and they help you judge, like they help the companies judge how well that can the students solve problems which they are not very well versed with or previously don't know a lot about. Right. Apart from that, they have like different companies have different selection procedures. Uh, from the point of coordination, I can talk about uh, like after the initial DSA round or the online test round, we have a series of one data structure algorithm round and then one round in which you have to with which we review all the projects that you've done in your college and asking open-ended questions, etc. So other than focusing on your data structures and algorithms and your competitive coding, just ensure to have to do some one or two good projects in your college term and know it well in depth about those, right? They really help assess and know, like it helps the interviewers know how how well you know your topics and how deeply you are, how deep can you go in certain technical aspects, and these are helpful and are required uh, in your day-to-day life during the company. Right. So talking from my experience, I had first interned at Goldman Sachs in my for my summer internship after my third year. So over there, the selection procedure was also, so yeah, the first round, the online test round for every company is same. It is mostly data structures algorithms, and they had some other topics, some MCQs of other topics like networking and databases in the selection procedure. Uh, After that, it was with the other interview rounds were more around what I'd written on my resume, like what skills I'd mentioned, what projects I'd done. So the interviewers wanted to know and went a bit deep on those topics, right? And so ensure whatever you've written, you know well in depth about those things, right? I mean, if you've done some project, ensure you know why you did that, like why you chose certain things. Like say when you chose a database like MySQL or something like that. So understand that why you did that. If it's the database schema could have been better, etc., etc. Right? And even say if you were saying that you're proficient in certain technologies, just ensure that you are and you're able to stand up to certain questions that the interviewers ask. So for the internship, it was mostly around those things in Goldman Sachs. Then after that, I did another internship at Amazon at the end, like for my that was a 6-month internship that I did at Amazon, whose selection procedure was also called. Amazon was fully around data structures algorithm, even the online test, and then 3 or 4 rounds of interview. I don't remember, but all of them were around data structures algorithms, where the interviewers were asking me primarily questions on common problems, right? And if you guys are starting early on the journey, regular practice on platforms like Code Courses, Code Chef, etc. would help. But if you guys are already in your fourth year and are appearing for exams now and haven't really done a lot of competitive programming before, then you guys can also check out a lot of company questions that are there on Geeks for Geeks and Lead Code and platforms like these. They have a lot of informative questions and generally common topics that the companies ask about. Apart from that, my selection procedure after the internship, I started working at Coordination as a full time. The selection procedure in Coordination was very different than others. Over here, they had, the data structure algorithm online test was there, but after that, the first round that I had, the interview process has slightly changed now. But in my time, the first round was fully based on the projects I had done before. They went really deep into the projects and why I did certain things and how I did them. So basically whatever projects you've done in your college, be it your academic projects or whatever you list down, something that you've done on your first, something that you've done by yourself, just know them fully. They went super deep into that. After that, we had the data sources algorithms round, where we asked relevant DSA problems, and after that, we had an open-ended question round, where we were asked to solve some open-ended questions. They could range from anywhere, like how would you sort of design something like Google Docs, how would you build it? Like it was a discussion, it was more of a discussion that what could be the problems you see when you're tackling those things. So those were the basic types of questions, and those were the basic things that you need to take care of whenever you are attempting certain companies. Mainly focus on your data structures problems. As I've already talked before, there are numerous questions on Geeks for Geeks, CodeChef, CodeForces. CodeChef and CodeForces, these kind of competitive coding platforms, uh, do not start right now if you're in your fourth year. If you're in your second or third year, it is better to start and practice regularly on those. It will help you build and will avoid a lot of last minute learning. But if you're already in your fourth year right now, then you can target platforms like like Geeks for Geeks and Lead Code, InterviewBit, etc., which have structured questions and structured learning approach for companies. You know. Yeah, so that was a bit of a brief description about how I went about. So yeah, me personally, I started competitive coding from my first year, so I didn't have to go through a lot of the last minute company wise preparation, etc. Just the regular practice on platforms like CodeForces helped me, CodeChef, CodeForces, etc. At that point, HackerRank was also a lot into competitive, but I guess now they've just migrated uh, towards more of the hiring side. But yeah, so yeah, that would be a brief on how I went about it. And yeah, it is not super difficult. It just requires some hard work and some willingness to learn. And since after that, it will be fairly simple. As I've seen the list of companies that Sir has shared with me, Sir has already done a good job on getting those companies in. So you guys, like a lot of these things, I went off campus to apply, but like I got the Amazon and coordination jobs off campus. But yeah, over here you have the opportunities. You can go apply, like you can just sit for them. Like I believe Micro Focus, Apple, Goldman Sachs, Amazon, everyone is coming, right? So you can just go sit for them, and it could be, yeah, just don't be scared, just be well prepared, and it will all work out. Okay. Does anyone have any specific questions, like where I might be of some help?
We request students, if you have any doubt, you please ask. So it will be easy for sir to guide you because you are preparing for your next interviews and all. So you can ask if you have any specific questions. You just unmute and you can ask. Sir, I'm having a one doubt. Actually, in this group, we have a different stream of students. We have EEE, we have ECE, we have even CSC and biomedical and all. If they are in final years and if we are approaching for higher packages, what kind of practice they need to do, because they have another solidly 1 or 2 months because all the companies are approaching now.
Yeah, so like I said, most of these companies hire on the basis of data structures algorithms. It is fine even if you're not from a CSE background. I don't think so. The branch matters a lot. Okay. It's just the amount of time you put in towards working on these skills. So you can just devote few hours daily to practice your coding skills and just understand the data structures algorithms. There are tons of videos on YouTube. There are a lot of resources available which you can go and which you can go and sort of use. There is Geeks for Geeks. There are platforms like InterviewBit or LeetCode, which also have very structured questions. If you're targeting some certain companies, all these platforms have questions or past interview experiences that you can read about. They help in knowing what kind of questions the companies ask. And in certain companies that are more geared towards networking or OS, they might ask certain some questions on those concepts. So if you're targeting those kind of companies, you might need to just brush up on those concepts.
Okay, fine, fine. Sir, during your presentation or during the session from the starting almost till now, you are focusing on data structures and algorithms mainly. But we have students with the doubts whether we have to learn recent technologies like artificial intelligence or machine learning and deep learning, whether it will certification and enhancing their knowledge towards this will, is there any, will they will add a value during their interview process?
Um, right. So it again depends on the job role that you're applying to, but most of these MNCs, it they typically hire mostly on the basis of data structures algorithms because it just acts as a good filter. They have thousands or lakhs of people applying to them every year, right? And it just, I mean, it helps them effectively filter candidates, but these certifications help you in, like, I personally am not a big fan of certifications, but rather go for, like, you can learn things online on YouTube or etc. Right? You can just understand things and, I mean, just get knowledge of topics that you're interested in. But from whatever I've seen, generally they don't expect freshers to know a lot of these tech. Like, it's good if you know, it will help you in your job, but they don't expect a lot. Like, they understand that you are coming right out of college and you might not have a lot of experience in other technologies, but if you have a strong foundation in your data structure, if you know how to go and solve problems, how to tackle things, that is more, that is a stronger sort of hiring criteria in a lot of these companies. But if you're applying for certain startups or certain other companies which are focused in, say, ML, AI, or which are doing certain, like, which require people who are experts in those fields, then these will help.
Okay, fine, fine. Students, if you have any specific doubts, you can just ask. Unmute. Uh, I think you can unmute. You just unmute and talk, you can ask your questions. Or if you have, if the chat box is enabled, you can directly uh, ping there also. Okay. Sir, I'm having another doubt. Whether is there any opportunity or you have chosen for internships, or how did you select during the internship? Whether you have the same round, or whether this internships will help in acquiring a good placement in the final years? Uh, can you explain
Yeah,
little about internships and placements and all?
yeah. So my first placement was through college in Goldman Sachs. They had come for the campus hiring, and I was selected through that. And other internships, I just wanted to get a more like Goldman Sachs was more in the finance domain, and I wanted some more experience in other domains, like in general product-based companies. That is why I went, like, I tried and applied for Amazon. And I also, when I went with coordination, my idea was to sort of try and see what fits better, like work at a smaller company which has a bit more focus, which is solving different kinds of problems in day-to-day life. So that was my general thought pattern over there. All of those, like, great companies, but luckily I got in those. And before them, I also interned at another small startup here in my hometown itself. That was uh, like that was mostly around web development, but yeah. I mean, I just wanted to try different things in different internships. So
Fine.
that is how I went about it.
Okay. Students, do you have any doubts? Specific doubts? We have triple students also. If you have specific doubts which relates to your Gen Z Next and Gen Z Elevate, so you can just unmute and talk so that you can get more inputs. So what about hackathons and contest participations, whether it adds a value for your internships and the placement, or since we have first year students, whether I have two questions. How the contest and hackathon, whether you have participated in many things for getting practice, number one, that is. And we have certain students who is in first year, even in first year, they are very much towards a particular technologies, AI or ML, and is there any opportunity for them for in the during the first year or end of the first year for getting internships?
Yeah, sure. So let's start with hackathons and competitions. I did participate in a lot of hackathons. I used to love participating in hackathons. Like, I'm not sure nowadays how hackathons. I guess they're mostly online, but before Corona, they were all offline, and offline hackathons were a lot of fun, especially just sitting and coding at a stretch for 24, 36 hours, and then yeah, like building something great in that time. That was a great learning experience for me. I used to go with friends, have a good time. So yeah, hackathons and contests do help a lot, in the sense they help you learn new things, they help you apply things in a short amount of time, they help you build working prototypes that you can put demo. So they are a good source of learning. And coming to the second part, the I don't know anyone who's done an internship in the first year, but there would be certain companies or startups you can apply to. See, just go online, just drop them a mail,
Okay.
build some resume, drop them a mail that you're interested in this. Go to their websites, they will have certain careers at the rate something, probably something like that. So you can just drop them a mail and ask them that if if they have any openings, and just say that you're interested in these things. You might just get in. It just comes down to identify which companies you want to go to, identify which I'm assuming typically startups would hire interns in the first year. So you could just drop them a mail saying that maybe you're interested in the kind of work they do, or you want to learn more over there, and mention what skills you have, what areas you're proficient in, and yeah, you might go through an interview round. So there are always opportunities out there.
Okay, fine, sir. Nowadays, we are since everything is online, the students are we are encouraging students to prepare for their video resumes and making their hard copy and one-page resumes to be something different, which is not a traditional one where it starts from educational qualifications and achievements and all. Can you give some inputs regarding their the current process? How due to COVID, everything is in online. So how the students can tackle this, and so that it will be easy for them to face all the kind of interviews.
Yeah, surely you should, like, any interview, any company gets thousands or lakhs of resumes. So if you can make your resume stand out in some way, that is great. It would attract attention. Typically, someone would glance, not spend more than uh, 15, 20 seconds or max in a minute glancing over your resume. And nowadays, but just ensure one thing, a lot of these application sites have we use ATS or automatic. I'm forgetting the full form. Basically, it's a system that passes your resume and
Okay.
matches you and ranks you. So do not make it very, like, make it in such a form that it is readable by the computers and they can understand it.
Okay.
Otherwise, like just adding images and those things, they might help. Like, it might look attractive, but at the end of the day, if it passes through those systems, they might not be able to efficiently identify your resume. So you can read about those things online. Just
Sure.
ensure that they follow certain formats that the these systems can track, essentially.
Yes, sir. Okay, fine. And coming to soft skills, since the students who are currently in the final year, almost nearly 2 years from the March 2020, it seems almost 1.5 years to 2 years. The core period, second year half and third year completely were in online mode. Um, how to enhance themselves so that they can approach any top companies that is like coordination and acolyte so that it adds a value because almost all around the globe it is a common problem where 1.5 years the college is not functioning through offline mode and it is in online. And the students, the learning part, when they experience a more by doing experiments in the lab, it may be in EEE or ECE. The real part they are doing is completely different when compared to online. So, how can the students face that kind of situations in during the interview process because of not having that much of real-time experiences?
Yeah, definitely. That has been an issue during these COVID times where, I mean, everything is online and peer interaction has been reduced to a minimum. So just focusing on top soft skills, mainly things that are expected are things like clarity in the terms that you know things, you're able to explain things properly, you're able to put your point across clearly, and obviously companies do look for leadership and those areas. So just, I mean, having regular interactions, have practice interviews with your friends. Like, you have your interviews of your friend interviews you. Things like that can help you build confidence also, and it will help you clear out answers to most questions asked. And just go in with confidence. It's fine even if the interview is goes bad. It's not like it's the end of the world. There are thousands of companies out there, right? So yeah, I mean, just practicing, just talking to your friends, giving some mock interviews. Uh, just ask your friends to question you, and you can do that for them. And those things should help build confidence and help bring clarity to your thoughts and concepts, which will help you during the interviews, etc. And yeah, just have as much as possible online. Just jump on calls with your friends and have conversations. Have explain them things that you've done recently. That would, like, when once you explain things at that time, you also get uh, once you it's like when you're teaching someone something, then at that point you get more clarity of things yourself, because then you have to anticipate what questions you may ask, and then they might ask some questions that you don't know, but then you go deeper into those things, and that just helps you learn more, and in turn builds your confidence, and it will help you in terms of, yeah, in terms of your communication skills, in terms of other aspects of the day-to-day job, because even the job is nowadays fully online. So adapting to this world early would help.
Okay, fine. Thank you, sir. Is there any stress interview kind of whether the students need to prepare for for a higher packages? Is there any stress interview kind of things? And can you explain a little more about what is mean the stress interview? How can the students prepare through peer interviews and all?
What a very careful.
Sorry, so stress interview.
Yes.
I haven't really heard of.
Okay.
I haven't really heard of that. I'm not aware of stress interviews.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay. Um,
Okay.
Students, if you have any doubts, you can just post it in the chat box, or you can unmute and you can ask.
Hello, sir. This is Logan, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi Lokesh.
Sir, which language is best language for competitive programming, sir?
So there is no like there is no best language per se. The most common languages people use are C++, Java, and Python, with C++ dominating. But all these online judges and all these online platforms have sort of what do you say a compensation for the slowness that Java and Python offer. Like Java is usually going 2x more time, and Python is usually 5x more time for execution. So there is no best language per se. C++ has the most people use C++ because maybe of the familiarity with the standard template library, etc. But you can use whatever language you are most comfortable in. I personally used to do a lot of competitive coding in Java, but yeah, because whatever language you are most comfortable in, pick one language, know that language pretty very deeply, and then you can just use that language. There's no such thing as a best language for competitive. All languages are great, but it's either C++, Python, or Java. From that is what most platforms accept, and they usually have adjustments for the speed in which these languages execute the programs. So whatever you're most comfortable.
Thank you, sir.
Actually, thank you, Lokesh. This question we have, it is we are receiving frequently from students, or even in third years or second year. Sir, please tell us which language will be best, so that it will be easy for us to crack the highest salary packages and all. They are asking whether we have to learn C or we have to learn Python. Python. What about she has and all? So every
Yeah,
time.
so C sharp, like I said, C sharp is not, it is certain, it is used in certain, like language is not the most important thing. Once
Okay.
you know one language properly, learning another language is not a huge hassle. Like the core concepts remain the same. It's just the syntax that differs.
Okay.
So any language, whatever language you're most comfortable in. Like I said, most places use C plus. Like most people do competitive coding in C plus plus. Then I used to do it in Java. A lot of other people, like some other people, do it in Java. A lot of people do it in Python, right? And even during interviews, I very rarely will you be forced to write in a particular language. It will always be that you're given a problem and you can solve it in any language that you want. So again, this is I do get this question a lot also, and the answer is always whichever language you find the easiest. Pick one language, but stick to one language and know that language very properly. Know all the different libraries, all the different functions in that language, the different ways you can write the same thing in that language. Right? There are a lot of there are minute differences in different functions in the way they implement things. Like map and unordered map, like in C++, I believe they have different implementations now. Like they can be used for different purposes. one is faster, one is slower, one is a bit slower, etc., etc. So whichever language you can choose any language, but if you have if you haven't like if you know C, then C++ is not that far off. You can learn that more easily. Then yeah, I mean that's totally personal preference, and I don't think there's any language barrier in the industry as far as us. Picking up a new language should be fairly straightforward once you have the knowledge of the concepts and the nuances of any one particular language.
Fine. Thank you. Thank you. Students, you can unmute and you can
Sir,
ask.
this is Anuj.
Yeah.
Sir, when it comes for time complexity, as you know that many languages differ from each other. As you said, some of the online editors were calibrated, so on. What about the Gen Z compiler, sir? Whether it is calibrated to different language speed or
Uh, yeah, all the different platforms on which you will give, which if they allow you to write like okay, C++ is the most widely C++ you will find in all different platforms, but wherever you are allowed to write sort of wherever you are allowed to solve problems in different languages like Java or Python, they will have a calibration for uh, how do I say? They will have some sort of calibration for the speed. Like they will have some adjustment for how fast or how slow this particular language is. Like Java will usually have a 2x time from C++, and Python will have a 5x. And it just boils down to the time complexity, right? If I'm solving a problem in order of ON in any one of the languages, it would be accepted within if your algorithm is right and if you're writing the optimal time complexity, then the language won't matter. But yeah, like certain functions and methods in certain languages are somewhat slower. Like say if I take Java for example, then if you are doing IO using the scanner class, that is very that is very slow as compared to the buffer reader class or something like that. So you could have your own wrapper around that, which helps you take the IO easier, right? Other than that, if you guys want, you can go with C++. That fairly standard.
Students, you can unmute and you can ask your questions.
sir, this is Logesh again, sir. I have another question, sir.
Hello, Nish. Yeah, go ahead, Nish.
As a fresher,
You are mute. Your voice is lost. Can you repeat?
sir, as a fresher applying for Gen Z Elevate, will there be questions in the graphs or any advanced data structures, or it will be just based on the basics of data structures? I'm just asking about the topics in what the questions will be given.
Right. So different companies will have different topics, but mostly it will be. I haven't seen any company go further than graphs and dynamic programming. Dynamic programming is a very common topic that most companies ask. So you could, if like what I was thinking is, if you go around number theory, then your stacks, queues, graphs, and dynamic programming. These are mostly the the most common topics that companies ask around.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Students, you can unmute and you can ask your questions. Do you have any other questions, dear students? Sir, we have a general question. Uh, we are in Coimbatore side, and most of the students are here from rural backgrounds. And when they enter into college, they may have studied in Tamil medium, and they come to college. They during the first 2 to 3 years, they will struggle for their soft skills, and when coming for placement, they will try a lot, and they will got selected for companies and placement. But here the students are not much aware about very big companies, and who can give uh, their lifestyle, how their lifestyle will change when we go to a top and MNC companies and all. Can you guide us so that these students from the day one when they are entering into the college, we can, as an institution, we can do something so that we can change, because coordination and all is coming for only top IITs and colleges. Can you name, is it possible for a student who is in a remote part of the uh, country or a state where they can focus even to the Intel or coordination or Acolyte like that? Is there any
Mm,
opportunity?
yeah, definitely. So also those are campus hirings that we usually go for those colleges. But there are all these colleges have a lot of so especially with this situation, it actually helps everyone. So a lot all these companies have off-campus hiring drives. You can check their Facebook, LinkedIn, or their careers portal wherever.
Okay.
They will have details of off-campus hiring drives. They will usually host contests on Hacker and CodeChef, CodeForces. These platforms, some like Hacker Earth or any platform, they usually host contests. And if you perform well in those contests, you will like nowadays. I don't believe like the location is a big hindrance
Okay.
because of technology. Every like it's all online, so you can
Yes.
stay in any part of the country or any part of the world and apply work for any other part of the world. So that's one like positive you can say about the whole situation that is going on. So you don't need to worry a lot about that. And yeah, just it's no like it just depends on the skills, and obviously it is a bit tougher going through the off-campus process. In the on-camp when they come to your campus, it suddenly becomes a bit easier. But you can like you if you perform well, if you have the skills, then yeah, that should not be a hindrance.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Students, do you have any questions, or may I know whether students, do you have any questions? Fine. Uh, I think we have asked almost all the questions related to interview and all. Uh, and can you, sir,
Yeah.
can you give a final task so that final answer to all, if a student is entering in the first year, if a student is entering in first year, and they will come to know about the replacement and third year and final year, you said that if they are focusing towards hackathon and all things, it will enhance their opportunities towards the top companies and all. um, how much time they need to spend for learning this codings, and how much time they need to, whether if they start in from first year, if they are studying for 4 hours per day, or whether they need to go for extra classes apart from online courses. Is there anything is that much needed, sir?
No, I would not say you should go for classes. There are thousands of videos on YouTube on every topic. There are many blogs, many articles. Whatever topic you want to learn, right? It's with the internet currently. It's just one click away. You can just Google whatever you want to learn. You'll find so many resources on that, and you can learn at your own. I myself don't. I'm not a big fan of courses and these things because like they go in a very structured way and the learning pace is different for everyone, and with these content all these different uh, people who are teaching the topics, you can just find whoever you like the best, whoever suits your pace, and you can just learn. And more than that, it's more about practice. Like just learning things won't, like you won't understand as much as other than doing things. So if you want to learn a concept, learn something, just build something using it. Make a dummy project. Make something. Right? Just build something. Apply it somewhere. That way, you would get to understand even the pitfalls of that technology. Or you would get to understand where that technology is lacking or where you want to work on more. And hackathons are a great way where you are solving some problems, where you're like working together to achieve something. They are a great way, but yeah, I mean, just apply more than doing. And in terms of number of hours, do not constrain by yourself by the number of hours. Do it as long as you find it interesting and enjoying, right? I mean, it is not a strict sort of a routine that you need to follow. But daily practice helps. Doing solving problems daily on like even solving competitive problems daily. If that topic interests you, right? If you like competitive coding, go solve competitive coding. If you like to learn about ML, AI, other those things, there are thousands of videos. There are so many projects that you can do nowadays with cloud computing. There even resources aren't that big concern. You just need any simple laptop and that would work. All these different companies, they give so many free credits to all the students to help them learn, right? You can go for GitHub Educate package. They offer you so many different, like they offer you free subscriptions to so many different websites and things like that, which will help you, which will basically help you learn all these different technologies. Google Cloud also offers a lot of things. That yeah, everyone basically help like basically helps gives students a lot of free resources available online, which you just go and learn. So just just do whatever, especially if you're in your first year, second year. Do not think about placements at that point of time. Just learn whatever you find interesting, and there will be some company who wants to hire you for that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. And if there is no any questions, I think we shall wind up the session. Students, do you have any questions? Okay, fine. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for spending your valuable time. Whenever if you are coming to Coimbatore, we are very much happy to invite you to our institution.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind motivation and sparing your time, that too on Sunday with the students. And today is a Teachers' Day, and we are very much happy to have you also. Happy Teachers' Day, sir.
No, sir. No, sir. I'm no teacher, sir. Happy Teachers' Day
Okay.
to you. Okay.
So we are very much happy to have when if the colleges are reopen, and we are very much to have you to our college directly. And if you just when you come to Coimbatore or Tamil Nadu or this part of UT and side, you we are just make a call to us, and we are very much happy to invite you to our college institutions.
Oh, definitely, sir. Definitely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
day. Thank you,
Yep.
students. Thank you, Saravanan sir, for making such a nice person to interact with our students. Thank you. Thank you, Saravanan sir.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Srinivasan sir, making this session as an online one, YouTube live session. And thank you for helping. And thank you all the placement coordinators and students who have joined from different branches. Thank you all. Thank you. Have a nice Sunday. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.